Okay, tell us. You are both a film composer and a game composer. So, your experience with the two mediums, as it pertains maybe to the contrast and the comparisons, because we've got film composers and game composers watching. What should they know about the two mediums from your perspective and experience?
Ooh, I mean, that's how long we got?
How long is a piece of string? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, so like for what it's worth, from my experience and sort of my opinion, because I enjoy both for different reasons and at different times. Kind of basically, how much coffee do I need in the morning to get going, that sort of thing. And then because a lot of anime music and then a fair bit of game music tends to be written away from any sort of picture and away from any sort of synchronized picture specifically. So you get to write music in a very sort of free manner, and then it's actually edited, especially the anime stuff, unless it's a feature film or it's a specific request for a synchronized one piece or two pieces of synchronized music to a particular scene. It'll always be freely composed music that is then edited by someone else, normally the sound director and the director together. Obviously, you can have, of course, input, but it's not your final decision. You're kind of just providing all these tools for people to use, which is both liberating, but also can yield some interesting results if you weren't expecting certain things to go in certain places once it actually comes out. So you don't normally see like the completed picture, and you normally don't hear the completed dub unless you attend, which unfortunately I can't do because I don't live in Japan. Although I will seriously work on that in the future. But because would be lovely to split time, but reality has different thoughts right now.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like you're just providing a jukebox with stems and a stemmed jukebox and kind of, you're now at their mercy. Is like, what track are they going to pick for what scene and what, and how loud is it going to be? Like, you don't know any of that until you see it. And sometimes it might be that they cut out all sound effects and all dialogue and just have your track playing almost like it's a music video, which is awesome. Or it could be totally buried between sound effects and dialogue. Could be anything. So that's one part of it. But with games, obviously things are like quite deliberate. Like the two sort of main examples I have from my personal experience is I did a game called Florence, as you mentioned, back in 2018. And then very recently a game called Necrobarista came out. And they have two very, very different approaches to music. Florence is very, very interactive, where we use the multitude of different sort of stemming techniques or like layering techniques, where we would maybe have one ambient track which had singers coming in randomly, or we would have like multiple tension layers coming in depending on what's happening on the screen. So there's that sort of compositional element to things where you're like, I need to write a 10-second or a 30-second piece of music which could layer could stack itself basically in a compositionally literate way, while also serving what needs to be essentially what would be the synchronized picture, the timing, which is in this case gameplay. So at some point they do differ like that. I do try and have an approach where, at least for like the first couple of drafts, I'll just write music for music's sake, essentially, as a reaction to story, images, manga, if it's anime manga sort of, if there's any source material, that initial sort of 1 or 2 track reaction where you're just sort of writing music for the sake of, responding in your opinion to it, can be quite, I found that very useful moving forward, because that way stylistically you kind of, when you're working with a team or whatever, you kind of on side with each other.